Good evening, parents. Today I'll be going over the lessons 11 through 15. So today in the classroom for lesson 11, we counted the squares and then drew the squares above the numbers. Now, about 95% of students did this effortlessly, very quickly as well. And it seems like they really understood this lesson, which is wonderful. So essentially what we did is I said, what number is this? 2, they said. So I drew 2 squares over the 2. And then I said, what number is this? Oh, well, it's 1. Okay, drew 1 square over the 1. But the other way that I reinforced this was I asked students how many gray boxes there are. 2, and as you can see, the 2 is gray, so that's how I was also able to connect with students. Okay, well, they see there's 2 gray boxes, so this must be a 2, and then let me draw 2 squares above that number 2, and I did the rest. As you can see, there is a pattern where it's 2 plus 1 and then it's 1 plus 2. That way students can see that the problem will be the same. If it's 2 plus 1, it's still 3, and 1 plus 2 is still 3. This is the foundation. When we get to the point where we're adding and actually adding the equal sign, they'll see that they don't really have to think too much about it, because if 2 plus 1 is 3, then they'll know that 1 plus 2 is 3 as well. So for the homework today, feed the puppies. Here are 3 bones. Draw lines to show 2 and 1. This is a little tricky because the instructions don't really make sense. So I did get a little bit of feedback regarding this lesson. And so you can draw a line or have your students draw a line to connect them. Personally, I would suggest, for it to be easier, I would say, okay, well, we're trying to show 2 plus 1. Okay, so how many bones are there total? And I'd say, well, let me count them. Let's count them. 1, 2, 3. There are 2 bones, so it can be the hidden partners of 3. And so kids might be like, oh, well, I can circle this one. I can circle this. Or a student might say, I can circle this. These 2. So they actually might want to do both, and that's okay, because then they can circle 1 to show that this one is a hidden partner, and then they can circle 2 to show that this is the other hidden partner. So one hidden partner would be 1, one hidden partner would be 2. Or we could do it this way. Draw lines. You can draw the line from this dog right here. You're going to give this dog 2 bones, so you could draw the line the line to the dog, giving him the bone, giving him 2 bones, and then you can draw a line from this bone to this dog, giving him that bone. So that shows 2 bones for this dog, and then 1 bone for this dog. So 2 and 1. For the second portion, color the shapes to show 1 plus 4. Use your 2 favorite colors. So this is kind of if you saw the video for hidden partners that I posted earlier today, I used 2 different colored teddy bears or counting bears, and I would say, okay, let me get 2 crayons. My favorite crayons, blue and red. So I'd say, okay, I'm going to color 1 block blue, but I can only use 2 colors, so I think I want the rest of them to be red. So one will be blue, one will be blue, and the rest will be red. So that's going to show me the partners. The partners are 1, which is blue, 1 is blue, and 4 of them are red, 1 and 4. Now, we're going to ask how many shapes are there. Make sure that you're asking what the total, and circle the entire amount. How many shapes are there total? Let's count them all. And then I'd touch and count each one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Circle the 5. Make sure they're identifying the number themselves. So if they circle this number, then you already know they're going to have they might have an issue with identifying this number, or the number 5 for that matter, and then we can work on reinforcing identification of numbers. For lesson 12, this is just a practice sheet since we're going to introduce the number 0. It is very important to practice this and to just try to reinforce that this is 0, or it can be none, and just have them practice. It looks like an O, like letter O, and so have them make a long one. It's just practice time. Nothing too serious, but it's great. It's great to put that in there, to get that in there. For lesson 12, this is what we'll be going over tomorrow. Circle the number that tells how many. So how do I know how many there are? Ask your child, how do you know how many there are? Well, they've learned that they have to count to find out how many there are. So we would count them. 1, 2, 3. Where's the number 3? I'm going to go ahead and circle the number 3. There you go. And I'm going to do the rest for the remaining ones. Now, this is important since we started talking about, this is actually done in class. So we will be talking about how many are there here? Are there 0 here? Are there none here? Is there 1 here? I'll be asking this during class time. The problem set also says, well, how many apples are there? In this case, are there any apples here? Well, let me circle that number. How many apples are in this one? Let me circle that number, and so on. How many elephants are in the trees? Whoa, let me look for an elephant. I don't see an elephant. Elephants don't belong in trees. How can they climb up there? So, we're going to go ahead and write the 0. For homework, how many? So you're going to count count the objects in each box and draw a line between each picture and its number. Very pretty simple. So how many spaceships are there? 1. So let me draw a line from the spaceship to the number 1. And then make sure that you're reinforcing like 0. So looking in the box, they're probably going to think, I've had students that be like, well, 3. And it has happened often enough for me to think that students, I'm not sure why they throw out a number out there, but they might see this empty box and still say a specific number, just a random number. So just say, okay, well, let me see if I can count any objects. Well, I don't think there's anything here for me to count, so I wonder what number that is. Try to encourage your child to think. So don't say, oh no, there aren't any in there, or there's nothing in there, because then they're like, oh yeah. You're kind of guiding them to the answer. It's very important to guide them to find the answer rather than guiding them to what the answer actually is. Write the number in the blank. Now this has proven to be a little difficult because I've realized that kindergartners believe that it starts at 1. The only time they really see the 0 is when they're counting down. So like if it's a rocket ship and it's 3, 2, 1, 0, and that's usually that's when I notice that students are able to have that, but they don't really know it comes in the beginning. So if they're counting on their hand, have them start at 5 and then go down and put a finger down each time. So 4, put their pinky down. 3, put their ring finger down. 2, put their middle finger down. 1, put their pointer finger down. 0, put their thumb in. So that makes a 0. So what number comes before 1? And then keep your fist up so that way they can see that. Lesson 13, practice sheet, practice writing the numbers 1, 2, and 3. This is so amazing. I absolutely love this because I noticed today that students are still having a hard time identifying the numbers 1 through 3, and also having a hard time writing the number 2. So the what I use for remembering the number 2 is half a moon, there's more to do. Slide to the right, and that's a 2. And it has proven to be very successful. For lesson 13 problem set, this one we'll be doing in class, and we'll be writing in the missing number. So 1, 2, and they'll say 3. I'm going to let them say it, and they're going to have to write the number. So it's really important to start to be already pretty fluent in writing the numbers from 1 through 3 at least. But I will be able to see at this point with this problem set if students are able to write the number or if students know what it looks like. So if I see that a student puts a 4 in here, I will know that I will ask them and say, okay, so 1, 2, what comes after that? 1, 2, what's next? And if they say 3, and I say, where's the 3? And they point to that 4, I know that they're having an issue with identification of numbers, and also just, identification really, because if they don't know what a 3 looks like, then how can they write it? So they might mistake a 3 for a different number. We're going to be counting up, and we will be counting down, as you can see, from 3, 2, and then 1. The homework, there's another problem set for lesson 13. So we're going to count the objects and write the number. So for example, in this case, how many turtles are there? Well, a lot of students will want to count just the big turtle because they see that one, or just the little ones because they think they're so cute. We're going to count all the turtles. How many turtles are there? How many? And then I'll count 1. Well, I see there's more. Keep going. 2, 3. Write the number. How many cats are there? Well, 0. So we're going to write that 0. How many fish are there, etc. For lesson 13 homework, we start with a 5 frame or a 10 frame. We're going to draw 2 pots, which is a little odd because we're asking a child to draw a pot. They might not know what it is, or they might be confused about that. We can say draw a flower pot, That's what I did. That's what I have been doing. But some kids actually want to draw the pot like a cooking pot. So in this case, we're showing them what the 2 looks like on a 10 frame, which are these 2 dots right here, 1, 2. And then we want them to try to draw 2 pots. And then we want them to write the number. Draw one friend. You can ask them to draw who their best friend at school is, or who their best cousin friend is, and then how many, because we already said it's 1. So how many are there? So if they're drawing 2 or 3 friends here, then that already shows you that they're not grasping the concept that we're saying 1 friend. This also teaches them to follow instructions, because I can say, please draw 1 flower. Well, this particular student may love flowers, and she'll draw an entire flower bed because she loves them. But the instructions are draw 1 flower, because when we take exams, mid-module assessments or end-of-module assessments, they are to follow the instructions that are given. So although as a teacher I'd say, okay, well, they know what a flower looks like, so that should be okay. But do they know what 1 flower looks like? Or do they think that 5 flowers are actually 1 flower? So it's testing their cognitive ability at this point. We'll do the same for 3 toys. This is going to be homework, and I suppose it's a little bit extended in this case. To continue the homework, how many pet monkeys do you have? So how many do you have in your home? Look around the house. Is there a pet monkey here? Well, I'm going to say 0 or none. Have them write that number. Write the missing numbers, counting up and counting down. This one might be a little tricky, starting with 0. We'll just have them close their fist and start with 0, and then tell them to count up. 0, and then what's next? And they'll poke out their pinky. 1. Okay, so is that what's next? Yes. Write that number. And then, okay, put another finger up. What number is that? 2. Okay, write that number. That's the best way to do it. Also the same for reversing or going counting down. Start with 3, because you see that 3. Ask them first what number that is. What number is this? And hopefully they'll say 3. 3. Okay, so start with 3 on your hand, and they will. What's the next number? Have them point 2. Okay, show me on your hand. 2. Okay, let's take away another one. Okay, what number is that? And then they tell you 1. Have them write the 1, and then take away another one. What number is that? 0. Write the 0. Lesson 14, problem set. This is what we'll be doing in class. Color the picture to match the number sentence. 3 equals 1 plus 2. This might be a little confusing for you and for them as well, because it's the first time that they're seeing a problem, a number sentence, and that's going to be the new vocabulary word. The number sentence with the total number at the beginning. So in this case, 3 equals 1 plus 2. Well, we already know there are 3 because there are 3 squares, but we want to pick our 2 favorite colors, right? Only 2 colors. So I will probably have kids pick 2 colors, the same thing. Pick 2 of your favorite colors from your crayons. And then I'll say, what's the first number in the number sentence? What's the first number? And then they'll say 3. Okay, well, let's count the boxes first. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so then 3 is the total number. But let's take a look at the other numbers. These are the hidden partners. So what's the first hidden partner? And I'm pointing to this one. They'll say 1. Okay, so you get your favorite crayon, put it up in the air, and color 1 box. And that's when they would color 1 box. All right, crayons down. What's the next number that you see in the number sentence? 2. Take your other favorite crayon and color 2 boxes. 1, 2. And that's how they'll be able to see the number, the hidden partners in this. And then I'm going to have them repeat the number sentence. 3 equals 1 plus 2. And then we'll do the same thing on this side. This is just counting how many moons are there, how many stars are there. I'll have them repeat the number sentence. Same thing with the tree. Lesson 14 homework, color the shirt so that 1 is red and 2 are green. This is very important because kids want to color the any kind of drawing the colors that they want, and that's okay. But again, the important thing is here to follow instructions, because whenever I give assessments, it's done one-on-one, and they are going to follow the instructions or they need to follow them as I give it to them in order to be able to score them properly. So color the shirt so that 1 is red and 2 are green. Let me take my red crayon. How many were red? Well, you said 1 was going to be red, so let's do 1 red. Okay, let them color it. And how many are going to be green? Well, you said 2 would be green, so let me color the other 2. How many shirts are there? Make sure that you stress how many shirts are there total, and circle all of the shirts. How many shirts are there total? All of these. How many are there? Touch and count. 1, 2, 3. Write the number. Have them write the number. And then, okay, so there are 3 shirts. Let's write the number one more time. 3. and then say the statement, the number sentence with them. 3 equals 1 plus 2. Color the ball so that 2 are yellow and 1's blue. You'll take the same approach. How many balls are there total? All of them. And then 3. Yes, there are 3. Let's write it again. 3 equals 2 plus. Well, I see that 2 are yellow. So what's my other hidden partner? And at this point, they should be able to see that the other one is blue. So that's when, how many balls are blue? Well, 1. Let's write that down. And they write that down. Number 15 practice sheet will be practice writing numbers 4 and 5 and filling in missing numbers, counting up and down. The lesson 15 problem set, which will be done in class. Count and write how many, circle a group of 4 in each fruit. I like to do these one direction at a time so that they don't get confused. So what I'll do first is I'll do the entire set. I'll only say the first instruction. So in this case, count and write how many. And then I'll say, okay, let's count the watermelon. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. Write it. And then write it down. And then do the same. Let's count the oranges. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Write it. I'll do this for every single fruit. Excuse me. And then I'll come right back to the top and say, okay, well, now we're going to circle a group of 4 of each fruit. So let me count 4 and then circle them. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I'll circle them. And then let me count 4 oranges. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then circle them. And we'll continue to complete the rest of the problem set. For homework, you're going to count the shapes and write the numbers. Mark each shape as you count. By that it means, so if I'm counting shapes, in order for me not to lose where I started or how many I counted, I like to make a mark. And that's something that I show the students. I'll be like, well, when I'm on the board and counting objects, I'll make a little mark with my marker. So I'll say, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. And so that way I don't count it twice, or I'm showing the kids that that's a way that I can do it so we don't count them twice. So in this case, how many triangles are there? So we're going to count them all, and we'll make a mark on it. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's mainly for them so that they can see that they might want to start counting in a particular pattern. Like sometimes when we're counting, I'll always start on the left-hand side. Excuse me. And so now we're going to do the pentagons. So how many pentagons are there? And I usually start on the left-hand side. And in this case, I'll go going clockwise. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm sorry, counterclockwise. So there's 5. I'm going to write the number 5. Let's write the missing numbers. 0, 1, 2, 3. What's next? And have them use your hands if necessary. And now this is also where you're going to be able to see if they are unable to write these numbers, and we can reinforce them. Practice. I can send some homework sheets. That's it for now. We'll go ahead and stop here, because this will be the last homework for the following week, since we will have a short week. And then over the weekend, I'll go ahead and record for the next 5 to 10 homework lessons. Please let me know if you have any questions. Thank you.